Good afternoon. This is our Tuesday afternoon Commissioner Conference. We had listed on our agenda a report from Human Resources, but there is nothing on the list in terms of filling vacancies or accepting resignations or giving promotions, and no contract negotiations are underway, so no updates on that. So we basically have miscellaneous. I thought it might be useful to provide a little bit of an update on a long-running project. As many people know, Weyerhaeuser used to operate a railroad through Longview, from the Longview Mill up to the Green Mountain Mill, which was on South Tootle Road. And I think it originally went all the way to it went through headquarters camp on up. At any rate, they made a corporate decision to sell that railroad to Patriot Rail. And so Patriot Rail has had it for a number of years. And about 4 years ago, they decided to abandon the railroad and filed a petition to abandon. But because a portion of that railroad was originally acquired through the right of eminent domain, which was granted by the federal government, the laws state that Patriot has to negotiate with local government to create what is called a rail bank. And that gives us an opportunity to maintain the public's interest in transportation, but just change the format to changing the rails to a trail, bicycle trail or pedestrian trail or both. And those negotiations have been ongoing. We were always curious as to how much it would cost to acquire, because we couldn't make any decisions until we knew how much it was going to cost. And they finally came to us and said, we're going to give it to you. Originally, they asked that we find a 501c3 corporation to give it to so they could get tax benefits. But our research has shown that if that were to happen, that would jeopardize our eligibility to get a grant from the RCO, the Recreation and Conservation Office in Olympia. And they also realized that they could gift it to government and get the tax break. So that is the choice that they are making. We are getting really close to the acquisition of that property. We had a feasibility study done about 4 years ago. So we've got an outline of what needs to be done to implement. The portions that go through Longview and Kelso would go to the cities. And my understanding is the city of Longview is willing to sign an agreement with Kelso to take over maintenance of that 100-yard section that goes through the corner of West Kelso. So we're getting to the point where we need our staff to get reconnected with the feasibility study and make suggestions on our best approach on what we do with this gift. So we've in the process, we've run out of our allotted time to negotiate. I think it's the third or fourth time we've come up to the federal government's limit on how long we have to negotiate. And the railroad asked us to ask for an extension. And so we've done that. I consider that kind of ministerial. We've already approved looking into it. But again, we're at the point. So if you don't have an objection, I'd like to contact the Public Services Department and our Parks Department and ask them to kind of generate a set of recommendations on how we handle transforming the railroad to trails. So we have an idea of the costs involved in order to make the final decision. I don't know how much, Rick, you've been aware of the concept.
Starting to get my feet wet on it, you know, trying to learn about it. Talked to Bill yesterday, I think it was yesterday or Friday, just explaining to me the extension and what that meant just for time. And I know I saw a meeting request come in. I think there wants to be some
Senator Wilson is interested in having some kind of a public meeting to discuss it. And the step for requesting the extension to negotiate doesn't really affect that.
Right.
That's a decision later down the line. So the original negotiations began with Elaine Macedo when she was the director of building and planning, part of the planning process. When she left, we didn't hire a replacement right away until just recently. So we assigned that task to the Council of Government, since it does involve 3 local governments. And so the COG has been completing the paperwork, the negotiations, as well as gathering the list of deeds and whatever restrictions they've been able to uncover. So they've just about have that ready to go. So it is timely to get staff a little bit more directly involved.
Yeah. So what we're going to ask them to do is just kind of dust off what had been done, so we can take a
Pretty
look.
much kind of design a program. What I anticipate is we have to secure it first, because we're not ready to have it open, because there, I'm sure, have to be some safety modifications made so people don't jump or actually throw rocks on the private property down below.
Yeah.
So we have that to be concerned about in a plan. So,
Well, what I would say is as long as I'm not committing anything, I don't, have an issue with them start to,
Sure.
I'm just not at a point to commit.
Yeah. Nope. Absolutely understandable. Welcome.
Hi.
Go ahead and come to the microphone, and
Okay.
we are at that point where we were considering public comments and requests.
My name's Clark Gardner from Silver Lake.
Yes, Clark.
Well, I've been chasing my trail around from the sheriff. We got 2 big dogs that are barking all the time. And the sheriff tells me, do this, do that. Well, I've done all that. And now he says, you finally got all the neighbors on the list. Now you have to get 3 of them to call while those dogs are barking. And he says, we have no power basically, and it's time for the commissioners to help us.
And help us how? What's he asking for?
They don't have any good way to do with dogs, apparently. I mean, I've been down here 3 times trying to get things done, and each time it's kind of a circus.
All right.
The very first time I went to the sheriff's office, she sent me to the Humane Society. And then the Humane Society sent me to the dog catcher. And dog catcher goes, you need to go back to the sheriff.
Oh,
And these are big, loud dogs that the people haven't been there very long.
so whereabouts is what's the road number?
It's 150 Silver Cove Drive is the people that own the dog.
Silver Cove.
Yeah.
All right. If I understand the dilemma the sheriff has, the courts won't take somebody's word for the fact that the dogs are causing a problem. That's hearsay evidence rather than having direct. I don't quite understand that, but it seems like the sheriffs have to actually hear it, or the deputies have to actually hear the.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've done absolutely everything we have asked people to do in that situation, and that's still not effective enough.
No, I've gone through a lot of trouble and I still don't know if it's gonna work.
Yeah. Gosh.
So, I'm hoping you guys can do something for the
So
sheriff.
do you have the signatures to present to us?
Most certainly do.
Okay,
And a little bit of what's going on there.
Just a question. Does that type of stuff follow anywhere in abatement?
you know, that's probably possibly a Tracy Jackson question. I know we have an nuisance abatement officer. We had this problem
May I ask.
4 or 5 years ago in a different neighborhood south of there. But it was more about regulating a puppy mill that was creating the noise that the neighbors were upset about.
Oh, these are big dogs.
These are, they're not breeding them. That's just big and noisy.
Oh, I live 700 across the street and as soon as I open the door, I can hear those things barking. The campground is 30 feet across the road from them. So the resort is not happy at all.
Oh, gosh.
The people in the tents are just ready to shoot them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely don't want that. Is that something you would like to pursue?
Yeah, that's out in my district, so
Okay.
yeah, I don't have a perfect answer right at the moment. I'll do research on it and see what how we can move that forward.
Your sheriffs need some more help.
So one of the ironies is that the brand new director of the Humane Society is the retired undersheriff. He worked in the office.
Oh,
So he's kind of familiar with the restrictions the sheriffs have, so.
yeah.
It is frustrating. Do you know if they went out and actually talked to the people? The Humane
Everything's
Society?
always locked up.
Oh, okay.
The
So
gate is always locked.
so the Humane Society has not gone there, or the people's property is locked up?
Yes,
Oh,
it's always locked up because those dogs would tear people up if they
Uh-huh.
were out.
that's good, but that doesn't help with the noise though, does it?
No, no, anybody that walks by, well, when I go to get the mailbox, if they're out, they can bark at me 300 feet away.
They're lonely, sounds like.
They are beautiful big dogs, but not
Yeah.
in this.
But a nuisance, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Silver Cove with the resort there, it's almost a little city, isn't it?
it's got little houses,
Yeah.
well, not little houses all along.
Yeah.
Dad actually built that. Jet.
Hmm. Yep. Okay.
So I'm pretty familiar with it too.
Okay. So, but tell you what, in our office right next door are our cards. Get a card with his name on it,
Uh-huh.
you know, and you've got his number on that list, I think.
Maybe not.
I don't, I should,
I can fix that.
yeah, if I could get
Okay.
your
That's
number,
good.
Mr. Gardner, that'd be great.
Super.
It's just an old phone line because I don't get good connection, so that's,
Yeah, that's
if
fine.
you happen to get me and leave me a message and I'll get back.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Appreciate you coming in. All right. I see Mike is promoted. Yay, you're a panelist.
Finally, no,
We
Hey,
missed
quick
you
question.
yesterday.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
Rails to trails, a clarification question for you.
Okay.
You're looking at extending the application time frame. Not, they also sent a purchase and sale agreement along with that email. We're not looking at going that direction right now. We're just extending the time frame for us to look at it closer. Is that correct?
It is. They keep saying they're at the point of giving it to us.
Yes.
So, yeah,
The purchase and sales
So-
agreement does show a no cost in there for
okay.
the property, but they also say, I think the extension deadline's tomorrow, March 15th. So they're asking
Right,
for an
right.
extension from us.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the extension is just what it is, just the
Okay,
extension.
I just want to
So
clarify that's what
you
we're
have a
doing.
little more time to kind of have your staff put together a strategy. So we do have the feasibility study that was done back with Elaine Placido. It's probably in building and planning. I don't know if Alyssa was in on a little bit of the meeting early on, but
Okay,
it's been that long and now it's suddenly they're ready to move forward with it.
well, I'll work with building and planning and also Susan and other staff members here to look at roads and the trestles and things that we have to deal with the
Right.
rail.
Right. There is a trails fund in the budget. Because I think there's a small portion of real estate excise, it's either real estate excise tax or a share of the gas tax that
Okay.
is exclusively for trails. So that was the thinking, several years ago that we would tap into that for a portion of that. And then we can use that and probably get the grants from RCO. They're big on bicycle trails, so.
Great. We'll ask for an extension and see where we go.
How do you get across Nevada? You just build a ramp, Mike, and gas it.
Well, there's kind of already two ramps just adjacent to it, probably on the right of way that is. I'm not sure that bridge is going to be built unless it's built by the county.
Yeah,
I'm more concerned about securing it before we're ready to open it,
Oh.
securing it from.
for sure.
um,
Okay, thank you for answering the questions there.
Yeah. Susan's on the line. Do you have anything else for us, Susan?
I do not. I just wanted to be available if we were
Okay.
diving deeply into rails to trails today.
I think we're good. All right. I don't know, Mike, if you heard of the discussion about the barking dogs at Silver Cove.
I did. Yeah.
Okay, so.
I think that's the
I'm
same
not
area.
exactly sure. I'm not actually sure if that's anything our nuisance abatement officer has jurisdiction or could have jurisdiction over. If the question is the sheriff needs more help, somehow we need to get somebody out there to talk to the owners and make that communication.
Yeah, I can reach out to Darren Ullman. He was in my office on Monday and from the Humane Society
Okay.
and see what direction from there. I don't know if there's an abatement officer project or if it's more the sheriff's office and the Humane Society as a starting point. So,
Well, I remember we set up this petition where the neighbors can get together for the excessive noise, try to resolve it that way. And that was supposed to involve the sheriff, but apparently they need a little bit more help. Mr. Gardner's back with us.
I just had all my information from the sheriff on the back of that,
Oh,
so, or somewhere.
you want us to take a copy of that and you keep that?
No, I got another copy.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Apparently I've done it up and left by somehow.
Okay.
Darn it, I got yours though.
Okay,
Okay.
All right.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
All right, we're good. Is there, yes, Mike?
as I say, I'll reach out to Darren and I'll get back to you guys and then also Mr. Gardner. I'll
Okay.
help Rick Dahl on that.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, Mr. Gardner?
I've seen him quite a few times at Tootle, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, let me double check with folks on the list. Is there anything else to be brought to our attention? All right. Well, thank you for phoning in, and we'll adjourn this meeting, and our next meeting is tomorrow afternoon at 1:30, same time. And we're going to have a review of legislative items known as
Yeah,
the hot topics.
yeah,
And it's that time of the session when legislation is either dying in droves because they haven't made it out of committee, or they're really under serious consideration. And we heard at least one mentioned this morning that's
yeah.
on its way that is questionable constitutional validity. So does that mean you're making the presentation?
Yeah, although I'm pretty much touching on stuff that affects the counties
Sure. Okay,
through WASAC.
sounds good. All right, if nothing else to be brought to our attention, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.